Welcome to Before Floor, the pregame edition of Five on the Floor, brought to you by the Five Region Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Three Piece Combo. Today I'm joined by Marco Romo, and I think Timmy, but he might have disappeared for a little bit there. There he is. Welcome back, Timmy. But we're joined as we're taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. They're coming off a side of a back, playing the Orlando Magic last night. But as always, it's 6:30. If you guys are driving home, make sure you guys drive home safe. If you're watching us live, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys are young and with a family, you want to make sure your assets are protected. Make sure you hit up markbrownpa.com. That's marcbrownpa.com. The reason you want to call him is you want to make sure that if anything does happen to you in this crazy world, you want to make sure that all your financial planning, all your assets, all your stuff goes to the right people. So give him a call at 954-866-8513. Or like I said, visit him at marcbrownpa.com. He's out of the South Florida area, so he'll pretty much service you in that area. And he's also giving you a free consultation. So like Alejandro has on the screen, go to markbrownpa.com. Now every single day, our prize picks rapid fire, and you want to make sure you maximize your money. Go to prizepicks.com, use the promo code 5, and we'll match your deposit up to $100. You can play each game for as little as $5, so it's literally 20 free plays if you maximize your money with it. Like it's on the screen there, spread it out, spell it out, use that code word 5, and we'll match your deposit up to $100. And we got some picks coming to you in a little bit. Guys, Los Angeles Lakers. And it seems like we're going to have Jimmy Butler. We're going to have Bam Adebayo. And it seems like we're also going to have LeBron James. So this actually is going to be quite a fun matchup coming into tonight as well. So let's get started with what we saw from last game. And I just kind of want to bring in a little bit of context, right? Orlando Robinson has been playing really decently well. And I just want to ask Marco this question, right? Is this more so other teams not being prepared for a guy that's on the back of somebody's bench? Or are there legitimate skills that he can bring to this team that'll help us down going into that playoff stretch?
Uh, I don't know how much it has to do with guys being not prepared for a backup center because Orlando doesn't do anything, over the top or anything that would surprise you. He's not like a 3-point shooter, despite what Eric Reed tries to convince you of. He's not a guy that you're going to game plan for. So this kind of stuff for a backup big is something that translates very well to the course of a regular season. I mean, you saw Omer Yurtseven last year. It wasn't anything spectacular he was doing. He was just kind of being good enough to where the team wasn't falling off a cliff whenever Bam sat or whenever Dedmon was hurt, because Dedmon was good last year. So honestly, it's a case about the team being more like, okay, we're going to survive these minutes because this guy isn't doing anything to kill us while our best players are out. And that's the best thing you can ask for backup big, especially when you're as hamstrung in the cap situation as Miami is. So honestly, it's not really going to be any different in whenever teams kind of game plan for him. It's really just going to be about how he, adapts to everybody else, being physically stronger than the G League, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like he's starting to make those adaptations. I mean, 7 offensive rebounds, the most of his career. I mean, I think he had more offensive rebounds last night than he had the rest of his career, which is pretty crazy. Let's get to Jimmy Butler, Timmy, right? Obviously, coming back off of an injury, finally having a little bit of time coming back in. Jimmy Butler finds his offense tonight. Do you feel like he comes in and he comes out, trying to leave his imprint in his game? Or does he do what he normally does, where he starts off kind of facilitating and then finds his way in later?
Well, I think this is a late Christmas present for us fans. We know what happened when LeBron and Jimmy went at it in the finals, and they always bring out the best, even from back with the Heat and Bulls days. So I'm looking forward to a very good matchup between those two small forwards. And we're not really missing any of our other ball handlers. So I think Jimmy might come with the gate hot. He knows this is the bright lights, this is the king, this is LeBron. LeBron has given this praise to Jimmy before. I think Jimmy's gonna come on fire, and he's gonna. Not, when I say firing, I mean he's gonna get to the rim. If he gets double triple team, he will kick out. But I think he's gonna go at, because outside LeBron, this team is trash. We know Jimmy, and not just to say because these are NBA players, but they are tiny. They start Lonnie Walker, Patrick Beverly, and either Reeves and Nunn. Their tallest guard is Kendrick Nunn. Cookies for Jimmy. So this is a game where I fully expect Jimmy to sit in the paint. It's gonna be maybe a double-digit assist, because even if when he spins away from the double, it's gonna be Thomas Bryant. So this is actually a game where I can see Jimmy going off. I know I always like to say feed Bam, but Jimmy
Yeah,
wakes up for the other guys as well. But so this is and we saw it before this injury stretch. We spoke about that Jimmy and Bam tandem kind of getting stronger. This is a game that it's ripe for them because, like I said, we always complain about the Heat being so small. This is another team that's actually smaller than Miami in without AD. I'm gonna like to see the tables turn this time for the Heat this time.
Yeah, like you said, with no AD, definitely makes a big difference in that front court matchup. And let's get to the other side of the injury report with Bam Adebayo, Marco. Obviously, Bam Adebayo has missed a couple of games. We've had to string together some wins somehow without him. I don't still can't believe we got that win against Minnesota, but we are able to get it done. But tonight, Bam Adebayo is coming back. We know that there's a story of two Bam Adebayos, right? The Bam that has strung together a lot of games this season, and then the one that's had a couple of less aggressive games, right? Does he come back and make an imprint in this game, or does he come back and like give us maybe a little bit of what we saw last year?
Thomas Bryant is starting. He's the worst defensive center in the league by far. And honestly, I see Bam kind of having a really good night. The Lakers are also really bad in terms of how they cover just a basic pick and roll. They have really lack of communication, especially without Anthony Davis, because he covers up a lot of their flaws. Darvin Ham did do a good job at the beginning of the year, but the team has kind of just fallen off a cliff in terms of pick and roll coverage. Especially every time I watch them, it seems like teams get whatever they want out of those matches. And Miami, if they're going to pack the paint on Bam, Miami has to be prepared to make those shots outside the paint. That's on Kyle, that's on Tyler, that's on Max, Duncan, all the other guys, Gabe being back, Caleb. Those guys are going to get shots if they're going to pack the paint on Bam. And even if they do, they don't have guys that are going to be able to keep him out of the paint because I don't think they're packing the paint is as intimidating as, let's say, like Boston Celtics. They're very much a small team, as Timmy said. It's very hard for me to see Bam not having a great night. He did it against the Clippers, who are also a team that kind of switches a lot and didn't have a guy that could match up with him. No matter how good I think Zubats is, which I think he's really good, and Thomas Bryant is not Zubats, so I see him having a really good night tonight. And I think Jimmy might actually, take a step back and let Bam kind of take over tonight.
That's an interesting concept. Timmy, Russell Westbrook with a triple double off the bench against the Magic last night. They also had 18 assisted field goals out of their 24 made field goals in that first half, which is a really high clip for a Lakers team, which is pretty middle of the pack when it comes to the assist percentage. What do you feel, or should we defend Russell Westbrook coming off the bench? Where do you see Miami schematically trying to defend him?
As the pinky in the brain saying goes, the same thing we do every day with these type of guys. Sag off him, and it's very sad that Westbrook is averaging I think he's averaging like 1-3 a game, and it's actually in a 30% clip, something like that. But the fear of him is getting at the rim. You would let Russ, like, why not? Let him shoot all day. Let him shoot all day. That's the best. I'm happy to see that his career has been a bit rejuvenated, get to the rim, but he still misses a lot of layups, like a lot of easy layups. Let him shoot. He's going to be going up against Gabe and Depot. And it's going to be interesting. Depot and Russ actually work out together during the summer. So Depot, even if he be downside, Depot will have that man in check. It's like how Bam and Tatum always play so well each other because Bam knows what Tatum's going to do. Depot knows all of Russ's moves. So I have no fear about Russ. My one fear is the Reeves or the non-revenge game. Like, those are my issues. Like some guy getting hot from the corners because he give up so many corner threes. Like, that's my one fear. Like, we play great defense. We limit LeBron, and limiting LeBron just means we make him take jumpers. He's gonna hit anyway. We limit LeBron. You get the bad shooting Westbrook game, but none. And like Lonnie Walker, who is from Miami, has like a career game. Like, that's always my issue with this team in particular.
Yeah, I can see that. So let's get into one of those guys that can really torch us. No prize picks for the Heat tonight. Like, I'm guessing with the injury report, there's no Heat prize picks. So we're gonna start off with LeBron James. He's sitting at 28.5 points. Are you liking the over on that, or are you liking the under on that?
He's averaging 28.7. I think that's an over for sure.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I was going. That was for Marco Timmy, but it's okay.
Sorry, you kind of broke up there. I'm sorry. I didn't know who you said, and I didn't know if Marco knew that. I apologize.
I was
Yes.
gonna say the same thing too, though. I think he's gonna go over. Is that just points, like scoring?
Yeah, that's straight points, 28 and a half.
Man, I know I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna go under because it's a back to back. I think LeBron's stats actually down on back to backs this year in terms of shooting percentage. He might shoot enough to get to that point, honestly. So I can see Timmy's reasoning behind that. But yeah, I'm gonna go differently. I'm just gonna go under, just to be different, honestly. And hopefully Miami just kind of does the thing they do, where they just take away the head of the snake, and everybody else is gonna have to make shots. And if they do, then it's gonna be a long night. But this Lakers team is not really the face of consistency outside the paint. Shout out to Miami, who is also not the face of consistency.
Yeah, like definitely not there. They only have one thing for Russell Westbrook, which is 3.5 free throws made. Marco, you feeling the over on that, or you like under?
Mm. No, made and not attempted. I think I'll go over. I think Russell will have a bad, shooting night, but he gets the free throw line still, especially against less athletic guards. But Timmy brought up a good point about Victor Oladipo and Gabe Vincent being out there. They're good. They're good defenders, and they're good enough to keep him out. Maybe they'll foul him here and there, but man, I Miami fouls a lot because they play so hard defensively. So I think I'll go over. But with Bam being back, I could see him maybe not even having one free throw attempt. So I'm just gonna go over, but I'm honestly not feeling good about it. I feel much better about the LeBron one.
I feel that for sure. Timmy, we're gonna finish with Thomas Bryan. He's at 7.5 rebounds. Go. Are you going over on that or under on that? And then also start us off on predictions.
He's the only big brother they actually play. And we do give up an enormous amount, a bad amount of rebounds. I do think I'll go over slightly though. Like I have like 8 rebounds for him,
And
and
then
I
what's your prediction,
and the Heat will win in a 5 to 6 point game.
Marco? How you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I think the back to back really helps Miami. Like most of the time, they actually get the front end of back to backs. Whenever his team plays Orlando, they always get the first game, and then Orlando gets the second game, which always makes me kind of angry. But this seems like a schedule loss for the Lakers, and also because Miami's getting all their guys back. They're all healthy. This is the healthiest they've been since the first half of that Indiana game, which only lasted for 3 quarters because Jimmy got hurt right in the first half. So I'll go with Miami, but with I think a bigger win. I think it'll be their third 10-point win of the season. Yeah, third. They only had two so far. So honestly, I don't really see the Lakers having too much gas, especially with all their bunch of their guys being out. In terms of Anthony Davis, just he was holding them up above water, and without him, they're kind of just been drowning. So I'll go Miami by like 10, 11, or 12, like around that area.
Yeah, I like that as well, Marco. I mean, I was at Heat versus Magic last night, or sorry, Magic versus Lakers last. Um, Lakers or the Magic have 0 point of attack defense as well, so it was really easy for them to just get drive in to start and then pass it out. Also, they were switching everything, so LeBron was able to dictate matchups pretty easily. I think this is a Coach Spo masterclass. I think Spo is going to just schematically make it hell for LeBron to try to operate because LeBron last night was, like you said, he's the best guy at reading defenses. So I'm going to like to see what Coach Spo does against that. I do agree with you, Marco. I do think that we're going to get the second most. This is going to be the third double-digit win for Miami as well. Just because the assist rate that they were able to attain last night versus the Magic was really high. I don't think they're able to do that against us tonight. And I don't think they're able to shoot at the same clip as they will against us tonight as well. So I do think Miami gets it done. Shout out Marco. Shout out Timmy for joining us here. And make sure that you guys follow them on Twitter. Make sure you guys as well like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe and go to markbrownpa.com. Go to Prize Picks. Use that promo code 5, and Alejandro will take it away with the player interviews.
Usually when you guys are missing Bam and Jimmy, you guys need a big night from 3 point range to have a shot. Tonight, you guys didn't shoot that well from three. How were you guys able to kind of build that edge and field goal attempts, and how important was that tonight?
Well, we had over 100 attempts. That's great. Just getting all those shots on goal. Only 10 turnovers. The shot distribution I thought was fantastic. We were extremely aggressive, putting pressure on the paint at the rim constantly with our drives, pick and rolls, cuts, all of that. So that was the most important thing from the get-go, that we were really aggressive. And then there was that balance from the three-point line. Those were the appropriate shots, the right shots. And we hit some key ones. That's what matters most. Actually, what matters most is us getting to the right shot distribution and profile, of being aggressive, first and foremost.
We've talked so many times about the close games and the clutch games and every other stat that they come up with for all these things, but the fact that every night is like this now, it seems like.
Yeah.
How are the habits built? I mean, you've talked about you get there and you have to go through things and develop grit. Are you there? Do you think?
Well, no, we're not there, but we're developing the right perseverance and grit. And since we're in these kind of games every single night, when we play it, there's not a sense of panic. What we talked about, this morning is you just have to embrace this level of competition. I think the fans, Heat Nation, should enjoy this, embrace it. These games, all of them haven't gone the way we want them to, but ultimately, this is what you want, are to have these thrilling games and great closing moments, with incredible context, all of that, and hopefully, your team grows from that. We've had a lot of moving parts, so we've had basically everybody in our roster has experienced those clutch moments. At the end of a long season, I think that matters, but we'll find out.
So it seemed like you guys really pushed pace in this one. Was it something you saw in game prep, or was it more like the roster that you guys had tonight? Like, what led to the heavy transition?
No, what we talked about, more than anything, is just doing everything with way more intensity and purpose on both ends of the court. I thought our motor was just much better, and we sustained it, throughout the course of the game. We were able to, push to 7-8 point leads several times. They would come back, but we would, instead of them taking the lead and taking control of the game, we were able to come right back again. And, just that level of effort and intensity is something that has to continue to be a habit for us. And sometimes that'll lead to, more pace and 94 feet. Sometimes that'll be, half court pace. But defensively, I thought we put forth a great deal of effort. And then what I said to the team afterwards, it was that kind of effort where several guys asked to come out of the game. I had to call 2 timeouts during the course of the game because guys were that tired, and that led to a 3-point win. That's how hard it is to win in this league, and that's what's necessary, and that has to become a habit night after night.
Your thoughts on the impact and play of Orlando tonight?
Yeah, he was the player of the game. He's the one that brought us in, tonight, and he's very steady. Everybody's coaching him, teaching him, screaming at him, yelling at him, directing him, and everything in between. And he's very stable. He can take the information, process it, and apply it. And he really works, every single day to be able to produce, and be ready for these kind of moments. I would say arguably he's the most improved since Summer League of all the guys that we've had. And this is about, I think, his third or fourth impactful game with his minutes. It doesn't necessarily lead to these kind of stats, but it shows you that he's slowly earning the trust of the team.
How nice was it to see Max see the ball going a little bit, and what have you liked about his approach these past few weeks as he's kind of gone through this little slump?
Yeah, that he stayed with it. He continues to play his game. He continues to shoot his shots. He continues to be aggressive. That's what you want to see from guys. I always remember Ray Allen, told me that every year he'd go through a 5-6 week stretch where he just couldn't see the ball go in. And that's a guy that was so obsessive compulsive about putting in the time. He always did what he needed to do with his routine, and sometimes the ball just won't go in for shooters, and especially when everybody expects you, to come off full speed and make those kind of shots or open threes. At the end of the day, that's still 23 to 26 feet away. It's not as easy as it looks from the outside, but you have to stay with what you do, and then you still have to produce in other areas. And Max has been very stable defensively, and has helped us with winning basketball, regardless of whether the shot is going in or not. Okay, thank you.
To be able to win another game down to the wire like this one. You guys have played so many games like that. How impressed were you with the team's performance?
Really impressed, just coming out tonight, especially how the last two games have went at home, just come out here and down, two of our best players and just do whatever it takes to win. Whether shots are falling or not, just do whatever it takes, get the win and, move on to the next one.
Shots weren't falling early, but you guys were really dominating in the paint, and in large part actually due to Orlando Robinson. What can you say about his effort tonight?
Yeah, just amazing. Really happy for him. He's put in so much work since he's gotten here, and to be thrown in there tonight like that and play big minutes for us, he did his part, did what he had to do, and that was important for us.
And for you guys offensively, things got going when guys did start making some shots, whether that was Max, whether that was Duncan. So how excited were you to see both those guys sort of break out of shooting slumps?
Very excited. Especially Duncan, just coming in and being able to, clear all the air and knock down shots when he's open, take his open ones, and just staying ready. That's what he's good at, staying ready, and we'll need him, throughout the season.
With a young guy like Orlando who's trying to kind of gain a foothold in the league, since you're running the pick and rolls with him, what do you see as your role in kind of bringing him along?
He can do, different things, and just getting thrown in there like that against Gobert, obviously there's not going to be much lob passes over Gobert, but just a quick pocket pass, he has great hands going up with the ball, and he also can just hold the screen, when they're playing a drop coverage like that, getting guys in the paint, whether it's me or Kyle or even Gabe was getting in the paint. I think that was big for us, and he had some big rebounds, big putbacks, and he played really well for us.
All right.
But,
I'm ready.
Kyle, how much do you enjoy watching? The Heat development program is obviously everyone knows about it, but how much do you enjoy watching Orlando and guys like that when they get their opportunity, step up and do things like he did tonight?
Man, listen, Orlando's played well every single time he's been on the floor with us, getting called up. I was really impressed with him in the Washington Wizards game. He played extremely well, and it's just a carryover. And a guy like that, you're just happy to see him progress, get better, and get more confident in himself and what his abilities are. 7 for 9 and playing against, Rudy Gobert, it's a pretty good, game. How many rebounds he had? 9 rebounds. It's a great game for the guy, man. Wait, is that? Yeah, 7 off his rebounds? That's a pretty good game for that dude. But it's awesome to watch that, man. Honestly, it's just, these young guys, you always, you get proud to be a part of their development.
Not to compare the players at all, but last December it was a similar situation where you were kind of guiding Omer. Is it same for you now, just in terms of what you're trying to get Orlando to do and understand of the team's goals?
I think it's similar in a sense, but at the same time, it's different. Orlando's on a two-way, and he just kind of like, I'm coming up and giving y'all what I can, and it's just trying to help these guys get better. All right, my job is to make these guys, get easy looks, easy shots, feel comfortable out there, and try to be able to support their family and get contracts. And that's all I can think about is trying to help those guys get better individually and win games.
Max has said he's kind of stayed try to stay with it these last few weeks as he got into this slump. What have you liked about his approach entering tonight, where he found a way to break out of it?
Yeah, he just continue to be ready and stay ready, and he's always works. If you know Max, he literally shoots every day. He shoots every game day. He works out. He worked out on Christmas, and he got shots up on Christmas, and he just continued to work. And a guy like him, they don't forget how to shoot. It's just sometimes you get rushed looks and side contest, and ran off and got to reload. But a guy like him is always going to be able to get he's going to make shots, and I have the confidence that he will.
You guys have been through so many of these. Are you at the point now where you sort of expect a game is going to be a 3-point game at the end somehow, some way?
It's just preparing us for the long term. That's all it is. You know what I mean? It's preparing us for the long term, which is pretty cool. Oh, man, shout out to Duncan, 800 threes, quickest in NBA history. Nice, Duncan.
Kyle, you always like running in transition yourself, but it seemed like you guys were all intentional in this game, just pushing pace in general and getting the ball down the floor. I guess what changed today in terms of the game plan, and what did you like about it?
Well, without Jimmy and Bam, your game plan is completely different, honestly. We shot 49 threes. We only made 13 of them, but that's kind of the game plan. We don't have Jimmy attacking, getting free throws, Bam attacking, getting free throws, pushing the pace. I mean, we shot 8 free throws, and but we shot 49 threes, and we just kind of pushed the pace, and you don't want to play against a set defense with Rudy Gobert down there, honestly. And but that's what you got to do. You always got to figure out ways to play, and we did that tonight. Thank you.
How you think you performed? I think I did pretty good. I mean, I was just focused on playing hard, doing everything I can to help the team win, and this was the result.
What does having an event like Kyle mean for you in terms of trying to establish your foothold in the league and having him to provide some guidance?
Everything. I mean, they hold me accountable on a lot of things because I'm an adult, and they congratulate me when I'm doing well. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting better. I can take criticism, and I'm also getting congratulated when I do something well. So with those two things, confidence, you get confidence.
Spo called you one of the most improved players in the roster. Where do you feel like you've improved on most since entering the program in the summer?
Probably just like playing off the ball. I mean, obviously in college I didn't play off the ball like rarely at all. So just knowing my role and just trying to perfect it, focus on things that I can do to help the team win, getting people open with screens, rolling, finishing at the basket, rebounding, getting guys open. So I think that's something that I really improved on, focused on.
Orlando, as a two-way player, what is it like to get this stat line, have this game, as you're still trying to carve your way in this league against the likes of Rudy Gobert?
I mean, for me, it's just another step on the journey, I try not to think about it like I mean, I got a good game, it's a good game, but I'm thinking about tomorrow, thinking about the Lakers, I just want to keep doing everything that I can to help the team win and just be a great team. No problem.